This is Super Yacht News with E. Sisman. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another breaking news video. So we've got some information about the movements of some of the Russian-owned yachts that are either have already been sanctioned or are likely to be sanctioned in the near future under the EU sanctions. Some of the vessels seem to be trying to make a break for it, trying to get ahead of those sanctions to prevent them from being locked in place, and some of them are already have already been arrested. So let's go through the list. So the first one, there was a story that came out yesterday about a vessel called Quantum Blue. It was denied leaving from Monaco. The vessel is owned by Sergei Galactica, and he had been preparing to have his vessel leave from Port Hercule in Monaco. However, the Monacan authorities and the French customs officers boarded the boat on Thursday morning to prevent it leaving. Also, a boom was placed across the entrance to the Monaco harbour to prevent to control vessels from entering and leaving, controlled by the police. It's unclear why the vessel was prevented from leaving, because Galactica is not currently under any EU sanctions, so it may have been unrelated. It was reported in some news organisations that it had been because of the EU sanctions, but there's no evidence to support this. Now, since this has happened, the vessel has now left Monaco, and we are tracking it, and it is heading south. It's currently sailing past Corsica, and it looks to be going south. I would suspect it's possibly going to go to Suez Canal and get out into the Indian Ocean, maybe heading to Maldives, or it could be going to the Black Sea, but I doubt that because it has to go through Turkey. So the next vessel that we're following is called Galactica Supernova, and this is owned by Vagit Alekperov, and he's the president of Russia-based Lukoil. And his vessel was seen entering Montenegro and leaving shortly thereafter. Looks like they went in to refuel. As I mentioned yesterday, Montenegro is a popular place for fuel as it has good prices, and it's also outside of the EU. And vessels that have work done inside the EU, once they're completed, they have to leave within a certain amount of time, so they often go to Montenegro and to refuel the vessel. And it's also generally a safe haven from the EU, right? But earlier this week, Montenegro actually joined with the EU sanctions against Russia because of actions in Ukraine, cutting off the safe haven. Going back to the vessel, Galactica Supernova, it was seen leaving Montenegro, still within coastal waters, and then the vessel's AIS was switched off apparently. The vessel, we have satellite tracking. I can track any vessel worldwide with satellite tracking, and the vessel is showing us out of range for 2 days now. So it left Montenegro, was heading south, and the vessel disappeared basically from tracking anyway. So it should be noted that all passenger vessels, regardless of size, must have a working AIS when at sea. It is actually an offence to turn this off. You're not allowed to do that. You must show it. It could be a danger to navigation. I did a video recently about a super yacht crashing into a tanker. One of the things that the crew of the super yacht said is that the AIS was switched off and they didn't see it on radar. Anyway, if you see this vessel, Galactica Supernova, take a photo, send it to me. Let's track its location. Let's see where it's going. I would say it's probably heading to Suez and then out towards the Maldives that way. But if you do see it, please let me know. If you work on board, please let me know. And by the way, tell your captain to switch his AIS back on. Okay, the next vessel is motor yacht Eclipse. So Roman Abramovich's massive super yacht Eclipse left St. Martin last night. I have word that the vessel was denied fuel in St. Martin and it left thereafter. It is moving at quite a pace. Last night I tracked it doing 20 knots. It's now doing 17 knots, and it's heading. Looks like it's heading towards the Mediterranean. Now, if they were denied fuel, obviously they're not full of fuel unless they manage to get it somewhere else. But the GPS track seems to show them leaving St. Martin and then heading straight to across the Atlantic. Obviously, I'll track that and let you know if there's any changes. They are traveling at 17 knots, which is very fast for a vessel to cross the Atlantic. Obviously, traveling at such a speed requires a lot of fuel. And generally, when we cross the Atlantic on a super yacht, we go slowly, 13 knots, 14 knots, unless we are needed somewhere very quickly by the owner, and then we go much faster because the fuel becomes less important, in the sense of we want to save fuel unless the boss wants the boat there quickly. So the vessel is moving quickly. Abramovich's other massive yacht, Solaris, is still in Barcelona. She is in the dry dock, but the dry dock is not. The dry dock is flooded. It's not. The boat's not out of the water, as you can see here from this photograph taken by one of my subscribers yesterday in Barcelona. Update on Dilbar, Motor Yacht Dilbar. I made a video yesterday saying that Motor Yacht Dilbar had been seized. I'm not a fan of using that word generally. Vessels are quite often arrested if there is non-payment or if there are outstanding issues. They're very often classed as arrested. I know it sounds unusual for an inanimate object to be arrested. You would think that was only for people, but it is often used in that way. There were obviously many reports that the vessel had been seized. Now, according to build.de, I'm sure I've mispronounced that. It's a German newspaper. The authorities have said that Dilbar has not been seized, despite the reporting that I just mentioned. However, I am told from insiders that all of the contractors, all of the workers in the shipyard have stopped working on the vessel. So the vessel is out of the water. The vessel is covered. It looks like might be getting paint by the way it's covered. It's completely covered. But all of the workers have stopped working on the vessel. The crew are living ashore in apartments, most likely. This is what I've done this in the past, and there is a minimum crew there whilst the vessel is going through the work that's being carried out. However, the US has just placed sanctions on Usmanov, and they've said that the vessel and his private plane, his plane is one of the largest privately owned aircraft. They will both be blocked from entering the US or from US people from working on board. Although it's widely known that Usmanov owns this vessel, or it's his vessel, it's very often hard to track who owns which, because there are so many layers of separation, and the Dilbar is actually it's not even registered to him, and it's owned by a holding company based in Malta. So I don't know whether it would even be considered as one of his assets. They'd have to be able to link that back to him to be able to freeze it, I would imagine. So quite interesting to see if they find that. I'm sure once governments get involved, they'll be able to trace it back to him. But I'm going to wrap it up here. If you've got any information about any of the Russian-owned yachts that are sanctioned and maybe they're fleeing, maybe they're heading out east, please be sure to get in touch in all the usual ways. You can get me through Instagram, you can get me through YouTube. On YouTube, you just go to the About page and you can click, and there's a contact link there. All right, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.